Beaches on 3! 1, 2, 3! Yes!
Fucking hit him. Last 40, boys, last 40!
Welcome back to SBTV, and this is Club Profiles, brought to you by Tony Wanzi at Newcastle Wide Realty. And today we're with Mal, or also known as Allan Logan. So Mal, what do you do around the club and what's your role?
Well, this year I'm the coaching coordinator, looking after the seniors. Also coach under 8s, because the grandson's playing there. Bits and pieces of, I'm also on the executive committee as well. That goes with the coaching coordinator's role. So bits and pieces, like everyone else, we all pitch in and do what we need to do.
Talking about your grandson, Byron, the other day he was on SBTV. So do you actually sit on the lounge, watch TV while eating ice cream?
Most people do.
Well, let's move on to more questions now. So what made you come to this club, Southern Beaches?
Well, I didn't come to the club.
Yeah.
Mark Vaughan and I, actually, both our kids wanted to play rugby. Mate of mine was a development officer at the time, back in '95. I contacted Mark. We had a public meeting down at his place a couple of weeks later, and 3 weeks later we started a club, and we had 42 players, 2 under-10s teams and an under-15s team.
And so, have you ever played rugby before?
Yeah, my old club's Mayfell East in town, which is now Eastern Districts, and Var's young bloke Philip sits in my seat in the change room at Danker Park. And the beauty of Southern Beaches is that I'm an old May East boy, Mark Vaughan's an old Waratah boy, John Delaw's an old Hamilton boy, and Brian Jones, he was an old Wanderers boy. So we've had a mix of all different clubs, and that's how the club come together, and I guess that's the culture that we brought to the club.
Yep, so how long has it been since the club started and you started it?
Yeah, we started in '95, and as I said, we started with 2 under-10s teams and also an under-15s team. Our under-10s team, there's some Andrew Delaw was in that original team, Adrian Sutter, my young bloke Jared was in one of the original under-10s team as well. So there's been some people here who've been in the club, not only as off the field but also players for a very long period of time.
What are some of the toughest things about being the head of the club nearly?
I guess when we started, there'd never been any rugby union as such in Eastern Lake Macquarie. So we were nomads for a long time. I think here now at Allan Davis or Ernie Calland is about our 8th or 9th home ground as far as the seniors are concerned. There were times when the junior club and the senior club were split as far as where we trained and when we played. So getting a foothold in Lake Macquarie and getting people aware of rugby union in the suburbs and surrounding places as well, that's been probably our toughest thing in all those 20 years.
What do you think is the best thing about being that?
Mate, originally when we started, our culture is coming back to what we wanted it to be in the first few years, very oriented in families. And when I said before I'm coaching under 8s, the thing I like best about that is now that Byron's playing, he's the 3rd generation of my family that's now been with this club. And I think you'll find in times to come that there will be more of that. There'll be people who will just say that Southern Beaches is their club, whether it's their kids, their grandkids or nieces, nephews, whatever, and that's the beauty of it.
Well, what do you see as the future of this great club, Southern Beaches?
Mate, I honestly don't believe that we've ever tapped the full potential of our junior club. I believe with the drawing area that we have, if we were able to work smart, we probably have the potential to have 2 junior teams in every age group. And we have had 2 teams in a couple of age groups in years gone by. And if we do that and get smart with how we do that, the on-fill up to the senior ranks would be, it'd just be non-negotiable and be very, very easy to manage.
So we're into the finals now. What do you think, how do you think the season has gone so far for the boys?
Well, obviously everyone knows that we had a bad start to the season, or probably the off-season. Again, a lot of people probably don't know that we didn't have an executive in place until the first week in March. The first half of the year was fractured. We were short on players. A number of things happened. Todd Loudon came in and did some coaching with us, which really helped our defence right throughout the grades. Change of attitude. And the second half of our season, right through first, second and third grade, but first grade in particular, has been sensational. And to say that we've come home with a wet sail is an understatement.
So what would be your best rugby moment of all time?
Best rugby moment, just starting this club and seeing, as I said, my family's now into the third generation. I'm seeing things like when Holly and Hayden got married, so they only met because of the formation of this club. They've now got a young child, and I think you'll see a lot more of that family stuff will come into fruition in years to come.
What is the best thing about this club and the best thing you love about it?
Mate, the best thing about the club is the culture. I know people talk about culture, and do people really know what it is? I think that's for everyone to make their own mind up. We've had some really good nights this year. Our last night against Nelson Bay, where we put the spit on, and there's still 150 people here at 7:30 at night. That to me speaks volumes for what the club's about, and everyone who's been involved in the club this year is responsible for that. So that's, I'll take my hat off to everyone who's been involved in the club this year.
Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks, Mal, for joining us, and we'll see you next time on SB TV.
Thanks, mate.